Okay, so for today we are going to be taking a brief look at the inventory system for the player squad members. We've come a long way with that over the past week. We have a solid foundation in place for having items, equipment, torso, head, gear, shields, swords, things of this nature as items existing within an inventory. And we do have the features in place to apply said equipment to each particular squad member in your squad. So we'll cover that at the beginning of this video. We'll have a quick look at that, see how that's looking, take a quick peek at the code behind that. And then for the rest of the video, we are going to be moving forward with some asset creation. We want to be creating some more equipment items, aka wooden shields, different other shields, the animations for that, for displaying that within the equipment and inventory UI system. And then of course how those look regarding the squad members' animations on the battlefield, for example, idle animation, run animation, so on and so forth. We don't have enough, so I'm going to do some more. That's the idea, before moving on to the next important task. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on with it. Okay. Right. So, as stated before, we are going to quickly go over what's new. We'll do that by jumping straight in. I'll take a look at the inventory system. Okay, so we begin with this user interface, as we can plainly see on the screen, displays all our squad members, the count that we currently have, who they are, what race, class, level, so on and so forth, along with the squad leader. We can simply click on any one of them and it will open up the appropriate user interface with relative information data regarding this particular squad member. So here we have the soldier, he's level 6, race human, we've got his stats here, and these are all connected and persistent data, the update in real time on the screen, as well as save and load in the background, which is great because that was not easy. That was quite the ball ache to achieve. Right, so we have these 4 tabs up at the top here, and as you probably guessed, with the symbols, we have our weapons list with all the items associated with weapons. So at the minute in our inventory, which exists as a JSON file at the minute, you can see we have an iron sword, that's iron sword, iron breastplate, oak bow, chainmail, cloth, hood, so on and so forth. These show up here relative to the particular equipment selection we've selected. So if we select any of these empties, we get nothing. And in the same manner, if we have a soldier class, if we have a class selected, a a squad member with a class that's not associated with the weapon we're selecting, it's not going to allow that. But a sword is appropriate here. So if we change that to shield, we'll get shields. And over here, we'll see the current equipped shield, which is the same as the new one we've selected here. So this is the current, this is what we have selected here. And this updates in real time with this. And it also shows you what's applied in real time here, including stats. So if we have nothing equipped for the headgear at the minute. So if we equip the HUD, confirm it here, you will notice these correlate to these. So if we select shields, we can only confirm shield here, weapons, weapon here, so on and so forth. Yeah, so if we put the HUD up here, we've got nothing here, none here. The defense will go up slightly, scaled with the class and the item as appropriate. Confirm it. HUD, defense slightly went up. Other stats in the background also go up. And we have this updated here. And we can take this off. And you'll see these changes here. And you'll also notice here we've got 6 HUDs. Confirm, 5 HUDs. Unequipped, back again. And the same could be said for overwriting as well. So we have a HUD equipped. And so we want this instead. As soon as we confirm that, this information here will change as appropriate. That'll change to the helmet. Defense will go up slightly more. Helmet will be knocked down to 5, and it will put the HUD back into the inventory, and that will go back up to 6. So we confirm that. Yep, HUD 6, iron helmet 5. Defense went up slightly more, and it is, it's reflected here. We can just unequip it here again if we want. And this works for everything that we have here. Chainmail, breastplate. No, it does not. Okay, we have a bug. We've almost done this. We've almost done it. It's going off there. Yeah, so if we go back, we can come back out like so and go back in. As simple as that. So we go back here. Let's unequip that. So it's added that back in there. It always defaults back to cloth. I could not be bothered to create more assets and animations for half-naked players. I don't think it's that important really, is it? Shields, you are stuck depending on the class. So if you're trying to unequip the shield, it's not going to let you, unless there's edge cases where this is overridden. For example, if you equipped a two-handed weapon, which does not exist yet, but I plan on it being so. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. I mean, if we supply some of these, right, breastplate for him, breastplate for you. Back as our main leader. He's got a breastplate. The other squad member there that we applied the breastplate to, and it's all there. So we've got a bowman here. Let's just let's remove that. So he's got normal cloth. Let's remove his hood as well. All right, so if we go back, we see that change there, and also here. Let's remove all breastplate from all members. You. Yeah. I'll give you a chainmail instead. go. Very good, very nice. And there we have it. That's pretty solid. There are a few tweaks that are needed, as we just saw at the beginning of this video. There was a slight error with the chainmail there. The first initial removal or application of it. I'll look further into that. But anyway, I'm quite pleased with that. That's working pretty smoothly. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at some of the code behind it. We have these JSON loaders that assist us with loading and saving the JSON information regarding the squad members' equipment. So we have one specifically for inventory, single responsibility there. One for the squad members' equipment. We also made use of this not only just for the local area network character objects, but also for the battle versions, the ones that we use during the actual tactics, strategy, battling gameplay. And so we have these free public static methods that we make use of, and as you can see, load equipment, load stats, and load the squad information itself. We use this, we make use of this. This is what's so great about this here. So simple and straightforward, but it wasn't. This went through many different changes until I cleaned it up and made it nice and short and sweet. But yeah, it's very self-explanatory. It's just file in out system, file in out system. I mean, the method names and whatnot just practically speak for themselves, don't they? For the inventory, we have a similar approach. That's very good, very short and sweet. And we make use of these in the UI. So when we are moving about, selecting what we're selecting in the user interface, playing the game, doing what it does, we select certain buttons like, as we've previously seen, these equipment slots here, and then confirming them here. Excuse me. The methods are tied in with these, as you'd likely suspect if you're a developer yourself. Hang on, that's the wrong one. There we go. Equipment A, B. So for each of those four, each one's making this call. We've connected our network local area UI manager script in there, and then we select its function here, apply it, specified it, equip inventory, and we pass in a simple integer, mark it, identify it. So if we search for that here, we will see briefly what it's doing. Which one was that? Confirm, was it? No, apply specify. I might not confirm, because I was working on that last. So we come in here, and let's say we've selected the torso gear. So number three's gone in. 0, 1, 2, 3. We come down here. We reset the inventory item list first and foremost, like so. And these inventory hover items are pretty cool. I had some issues with this in the beginning. I ended up creating this script to replace the usual Unity buttons. You'll see these are buttons up here because these worked as expected, but it turns out in Unity and the user interface, the canvas, you come across some finicky issues with the pointer, the mouse cursor, identifying whether it's hovering over the button or not when they're positioned really closely together, like these. So these are just images. They're images. And then we've got our text components in with them. And then we've attached our inventory item list hover script. It's working with the event system. So we can treat it as if it was a button. But yeah, we had to take that approach because it was just wasting time trying to get the buttons to work as expected. So this is it's making use of these, as you can see here. So when we implement these interfaces, it gives us access along with the event system to on pointer enter, on pointer exit. So we have full control of what happens with those elements. So we change the color, change the text, things of this nature, or not under certain conditions. And of course we've got on pointer click as well. So we've got room for functionality, movability there. We don't want to go too deep into that. We reset this. There. That's not where I want to be. All there. Great. There. We do this. We do a bunch of resetting for a lot of things that are going off here. Initialize inventory equipment. As you expect, it looks something like that. So we're doing that. And we come down, we set a ton of important variables. And here's the magic. The back end is saving and loading. We make use of these properties that we covered very briefly here to grab the information that we need from the JSON files. Yeah, so we load them in. We load that information. We've got that struct. We've got hold of that, and then we can set these strings up. Weapon A, B, torso. So that would be your sword, your shield, the torso, the headgear. We've got access to that there, so we get into that. As you see there, weapon A, so on and so forth. And we have a function for doing this cleanly and quickly here. So we use this many times. We don't want to repeat code, do we? So this is the joy method. So we ensure when we select the weapon button up at the top column previously that it is that is the case, and do this under these conditions. And the same for shields. And this is not the best structure. I could imagine this becoming quite monolithic. So this might, well, it will have to be changed, this approach, this structure, but it's working absolutely fine at the minute. Yeah, so that's pretty good. So we do that. And then we do the same for equipment. We do it first for equipment, and then for the inventory here. So there is quite a lot. I don't want to go through all of this and explain all of it. Not even recite it all. I don't know about you. If you're a developer, you tend to hyper-focus and block out everything else on the particular bit that you're working on to make sure it's working, you know, brick by brick, and move on to the next thing. So it's hard just to remember the entire scope of the digital machine that you've covered in one moment that you want to losing my words here. Yeah, so you've got a rough idea what's going off there. We don't need to go too fully into that. But we know that's working now for the best part, and we do not have a great deal of equipment for our players, squad members, and the same could be said for some of the enemies. That there is an orc sword. So we want to be getting on with creating these assets here. Get a few of these in, so we've got a bit more of a selection, and then we're going to move forward onto the other important tasks, just so it's not so bare, because we're going to have to come back to this at some point anyway and start creating. But yeah, that's the general gist of that. I'm quite happy with that. Right, so if you've seen some of my previous videos, you would have seen the 3D low poly to 2D capture process. This is our little pipeline for creating our animations, 3D low poly models into 2D animations. We're using the same process pipeline again to create the equipment basically. And the other animations for our squad members. So if we're going to create a new sword or shield or something like that, we're going to have to add that onto the player and then do the records again and process them so we can make use of those new animations when they've got that equipment equipped. Okay, so let's just get this set up so we're ready to roll with this process. I think we said we were going to do a wooden shield. I think we'll do that, yeah. Yeah, here's our orc sword. We've got a few things in place here. Shields, wooden shield, a sprite file, okay. So it's that colour. Okay, very cool. We've got that for the equipment, but we do not have that for our player. So we're going to have to record him with the wooden shield. As you can see here, I was contemplating doing the no equipment at all thing, but I scrapped that. That's just a ton of animation work going through this process, eating up time needlessly. I think there's no point in that. Right, so with our squad members at the minute, we usually start off with the clothing, which is, yeah. What is going off there? That looks horrendous. Right, that is not right. What? Great. Maybe that's not what I was using that one for. Or that. Yeah, it's absolutely fine there. Is that just... no. Make a copy of that. Okay, so let's just remove what's already on there at the minute. Which I cannot remember off the top of my head. Is it rogue? Yeah. These are. Hang on, I need the front, because positioning, transform applied. Okay. There we go. That is the wrong head. That's the wrong head. I should have got this pre-done really. Pre-set up. Oh well, here we are. It's got green facial there. Tell me which one is it? Especially not these ones. It's not them eyes. Yeah. So. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's go off here. No. Just bear with me a minute. Come on there. No. You know, I should have made a much better structure than this for this particular bit. This is just awful. There we go. Now that took too much of my time. Right, let's not record, let's not rotate. We added these extra properties here so we could get the equipment, things like sword shields, rotating in the screen record, which was really useful. Yeah. So come back up. What? There we go. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, so we're going to have to go through this process. So many times, probably an hour's work or so, just to get the base animation foundations in place. We have 3 sets for the clothing. So it's like clothing, sword shield, clothing, helmet, clothing hood. And now we're adding this wooden shield. I did consider at the beginning of doing a layered animation thing, so like the equipment that you would add could be layered on top of the base animation of each player, and that would be an easier approach, but I've been down that route, that path before. Excuse me. And there was a ton of sync issues because you're layering several animators on top of one another, and it was not so straightforward getting the getting them all to be synced. So I've just decided to create this pipeline here, which takes a lot of the legwork out, but still we're going to have to brute force it somewhat, just creating the animations for these extra bits and pieces, which is fine. It's just a little monotonous and a little bit of time consumption, but it's not too much of a big deal. Anyway, we want 60 frames, frame index 0, so that's going to go up to 60. We stop it 60, open up the frames directory, open these up, yeah, and chop it off at 60. And for this particular process, we flip this here. Yeah, that looks, it's about fine for the battle animation. Export as a sprite sheet, save as. We are running all of these at 128 by 128 powers of 2 pixels. We didn't want to, we could go a little higher for a little bit more detail, 256, but when we are creating a lot of animations, we don't want to be, we don't want the file size too big. So we opted for 128 because this looks acceptable enough from the distance in the battlefield gameplay state of the game. So it's not that much of a boost to take that extra weight in regards to upping the file dimensions there to 256 by 256. That's wrong there, 512, but pretty sure that's set to 128, yeah. And somewhere else we set that to 128. Oh, allow animations, get this in. Yeah, number of frames 60, 128 by 128. We want our outline. We've been through this process before in the in previous videos, so I'm not going to explain everything too much here as I go along. I think actually looking at the time gone by, I've gone over time again. I wanted to get a bit more of this done during this process than I actually have. I've only just begun it really. But I think we're gonna have to cut it short relatively soon. We have to have the width at 175. We changed that there, so we break powers of 2. Unfortunately, because of the animations, certain animations like sword swinging and so on and so forth need that extra bit of space. It's not really had an impact on performance or anything like that, so this would be clothing, sword, wooden shield, idle. Save that like that, all that. Where did we save that to? Great. Desktop, yeah. .a sprite. I don't see it. I didn't see it. Okay, let's get back in here. Textures, characters. This is a soldier, so we've got clothing, sword, shield. See, these are I'm gonna have to rename these. Along with the sword, it's an iron sword, eye sword. We're gonna have several variations of this. So W, wooden shield. That would be that, no hood or anything like that. there. Yeah, this has not gone as smoothly as I thought it would. I'm going to have to cut it short there for now. I think I'll come back again relatively soon following this on. Probably more planned than I've been this time around. So anyway, yeah, that's the inventory system, working with the squad members, quite a lot of progress there. Hopefully you can see whereabouts we are at the minute with this. Glad that you've stopped by and give the video a watch. Do join me next time. For now, see you later.